I went through school not being popular, not having a lot of friends. I was never the guy. So that's where it all comes from, is like not really being adequate, not being really popular, not getting the girls when I was a kid. I'm gonna change that. And business is the ultimate equalizer.
How does that translate to fatherhood and being a husband?
Brother, it's the hardest thing I do today. I'm extremely frustrated. I've made the decision to always be there for my wife and always be there for my kids and miss out on a lot of really cool things. I don't think I knew the sacrifice, to be honest. It didn't dawn on me how much work kids are if you are a present father. I don't think I've ever said this publicly, so I'm gonna say it now.
Well, welcome to the show, dude. I've heard some really good things about you, and Austin, if you're listening, thank you so much for introducing us. I've seen a lot of like any of your public appearances and podcasts and Instagram have been a lot more like business facing around like what you do and your sales career, the tech business, etc. I want to start a little bit deeper if possible, because you left a thriving sales career in, Salesforce and a lot of these big companies, which is not a low paying job to say the least, to pursue entrepreneurship. Like, help me understand where your mind's at in terms of overcoming the fear to jump ship.
I mean, for me, I don't know that there was too much fear. I think the biggest hurdle was when, right? What am I going to do and when?
Sure.
And, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of pressure in my family to be an entrepreneur. And so, again, it was like, it wasn't an if I was going to do it. It was what was I going to do and when, and what's everyone's going to be reaction going to be, right? You leave Salesforce after making 7 figures, and you have all this political capital, and the amount of high-powered, successful people that said I was making the biggest mistake of my life were just there in my ear chirping or saying like, "Hey, good luck, man. The door is always open if you want to come back." I'm like, "You are expecting me to fail. Thanks."
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if there was fear, but it was, it was when, and what are people going to say?
Yeah. Do you feel like, with the amount of personal development that you probably do, when you hear all the doubt, do you feel like that's exactly where you need to be at the time?
People don't get it.
Sure.
I think that's really it. Like, I don't think the doubt ever comes from a bad place, or, people hear the statistics, right? And that, especially the successful people in corporate, 99 out of 100 businesses fail. So they just look at you as a statistic, but I think it's just ignorance. They've never done it. So I don't take it personally. I don't know that it says that I'm on the right track or not. They just don't know.
Sure. Now, just to get a little businessy for a second, give me the context so our listeners understand of why, where you saw a gap in the marketplace as to why you actually transitioned to providing a solution in the entrepreneur space.
Yeah, I mean, here's the cool thing. I didn't create anything that hadn't already been done, but what I was able to do is I was able to take learnings from my career, all the places I'd been, take a little bit from there, take a little bit from there, take some from here, and then essentially combine those skills and those experiences into what my company tech stack is today.
Sure. And which does what?
Yeah, so we work with enterprises to optimize their contact center technology. In layman's terms, we help them with their phone systems.
Got it.
So I have a boring business in tech.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's elaborate a little bit more on what a boring business in tech looks like now, because everyone's all excited about SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI, all these other companies. Help me understand what a boring business in tech is doing in this day and age.
Absolutely. So I say the fun businesses in tech are the manufacturers of the actual tech, right? Sure. The AI vendors, the SaaS vendors, the people creating the tech. We are a distributor and implementation partner of those manufacturers. So if you think of everyone knows HVAC, right? Carrier and Rheem make the actual HVAC unit, but then they have the mom and pop guys that distribute it and install it in the home. I am the mom and pop that distributes it into the home, but in my case, into enterprises.
Got it. So you're the way to get it into the end user, essentially.
Yeah, we do the implementation.
That makes sense. I heard you say somewhere that you openly admit that you think sales was the most important part of a business for so long, but it no longer is. It's no longer the most important function of a company. What changed your mind?
Hitting walls.
Sure.
You're right. So, I mean, you know this, right? Entrepreneurship is just a game of personal development and learning your own strengths, learning your own weaknesses, and everything in between. And so I'm this hotshot sales guy coming out of Salesforce after being number one. I'm like, oh, sales is the most important part of the company, when in reality, it's not. Right. And I didn't realize that until I hit the wall, the growth wall of my company, to say, hey, I can't do this alone, just being this hotshot sales guy. The offer needs to be better. The marketing needs to be better. The finance function needs to be better. The operations need to be better. And sales is just part of that equation, right? So I look at the pie of business and the different departments and how the thing runs, and I don't know that anything's more important than the other. They are all cohesive together.
Sure. And so what did you have to like learn about yourself or relearn as you stepped into the world of like entrepreneur versus just sales guy when it comes to like the whole dynamic of business? Because I completely empathize with exactly your transition, because I went from sales guy to where like I generate money that goes into my pocket. Great, I can go live my life. And the cool thing is I can do it in independent contractor capacity where I can write off a lot of stuff, all those types of things. But you're kind of just a high paid employee, essentially. How do you transition that over to business ownership from a mindset perspective?
You know, I think a lot of the skills that you and I learn in a sales capacity, like I think you were an entrepreneur in your business, right? So you own your own business and you run your own territory. And even in software sales, it was kind of the same thing, to where we are entrepreneurial in the business. So you still have to interface with all the different departments. But as an egotistical sales guy, you're like, everyone else sucks except me. What we do is the most important. And so you have some of those skills, and those skills are buried under the kind of alpha of sales. But when you get into the entrepreneurship game and you start growing your company and you realize, hey, nothing is more important than the other. Let me bring those skills up and let me start to harvest those skills and water that plant and say, like, okay, let me grow my marketing function. Let me grow my operations. Let me grow my leadership and management skills. And let me bring that up with the sales, and then all together, like that's when you start cooking with gas. Sure. I think.
Rewind me back to like your upbringing and such. Like you mentioned, your family, you come from a family of entrepreneurs. I have to imagine it's a relatively competitive environment. Walk me through kind of your upbringing and how it got to where you're at today. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So both my parents are first, like, they're off the boat coming to America. Both of them get here when they're 18 from South America and the Middle East, with nothing in their pocket, and they realized the American dream. Both of them entrepreneurs, business owners. I mean, I had the opportunity to grow up seeing us with nothing, seeing my dad start a business and still not having anything, and then going all the way to living in the nicest, most affluent zip code and area code in Northern Virginia suburbs out of DC, with a multi-million-dollar mansion and the sports cars. And then seeing it even downturn after 2008 and business disruption happens. And so seeing the entire journey up and down, and really seeing what it was like to be an entrepreneur. A lot of pressure. I started working in the family business when I was 13. And the reason, I have an older sister who's wicked smart, like valedictorian, NYU graduate. She's a beast academically. Mm-hmm. I was not interested in school. And so my quote unquote punishment, which is a blessing now, was that I had to go to work. My dad was like, well, if you're not going to do well in school, you're coming to work. So from 13 all the way through high school, I would work a minimum 25 hours a week in the family business. During Christmas, we were in retail. During Christmas, it was 40 plus hours a week. I didn't sleep during that time. And that's where I got my sales skills that I still use today. The business, when I started working in it, it was selling high-end luggage like Toomey, Briggs & Riley, Swiss Army, to the affluent business owners or business leaders. So I learned very early on in my life how to speak to adults. And I would go, we'd go to family parties or whatever, and everyone would be like, oh my gosh, Adam can speak to any of us. He's like one of us. Just because I worked in the store selling $1,000 pieces of luggage to adults as, a 13-year-old.
Sure.
But that was a blessing.
Yeah.
Being the son of business owners, and especially like foreign-born business owners, we talk about money a lot. We talk about success a lot. We talk about work ethic a lot. Like I think a lot of families, they don't have the money conversation with their kids. That's all we talked about was business and money. I don't think in a not healthy way, but in just like, hey, this is life. As an adult, as a human in life, you need to understand business, you need to understand money, you need to understand financial literacy, you need to understand how the world works. And like my dad is really intense, and my friends would meet him and they'd all be scared of both my parents, really. But it would be, oh my gosh, your parents are so intense, because my parents wouldn't sugarcoat anything. There was no joking around in our family. Like we didn't laugh. We talked about real stuff and real business and real finance. And, I'll never forget, my sister wanted to get a kind of a BS degree, or what my dad thought was a BS degree in college. He's like, finance, business, accounting, that's it. That's all you're allowed to do. You weren't allowed to do what you liked. You were only allowed to do what was going to benefit you in the future.
Sure. Well said, man. How do you go about, so like the awesome values that are created there, but it's a lot like from what I understand, and also like I come from a family of entrepreneurs as well, more just like my dad built a very solid general contracting business, but very blue collar. So there was no like, it was just, you just work hard. That's the only solution. In a world today and age where there's like personal development's a factor, having empathy for your employees is now like a thing, right? Like, help me understand how you took the really good parts and what you had to relearn or unlearn from some of the old ways of doing business back, I don't know how long ago that was, but I have to imagine there's been some shift just culturally of how to run a business since.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the cultural shift is real, and, all of us have to always adapt to the cultural shift, and you always, like, business is dealing with people. Life is just dealing with people, and in order to get anywhere you want to go, we all know this, you have to deal with people, and you have to understand how to deal with them. But I think, like, anything in life, like, you see somebody doing something, and you can say, okay, I like what they're doing, that's good, and everything that I don't like, I'm just not going to take that. Right. And, I think like all of us have parents, like, and I have kids. I don't know if you have kids. I have two young kids. And this is no knock on the parents, but you say, okay, I'm going to be different than my parents. I'm going to be better than they were. I'm going to take these good things and this is the thing that pissed me off as a kid. So I'm not going to do that to my kid. And you can take that, and I think anywhere, like you have probably business mentors or leaders that you look up to a lot, but there's maybe 10 or 15% of things that they do that you were just like, that's not for me. So I think you always just take stock of that, take the good, take it with you, eliminate the bad, and it's knowing what great looks like, but it's also knowing what bad looks like.
Yeah, that's well said. And that comes with a lot of self-awareness, which is a lot of repetition. That where I see a lot of people get stuck, my friends, fellow entrepreneurs, etc., is they have these like relative versions of heroes in their head, whether it's their dad or somebody else, and it's almost like those people can never do any wrong and have to abide by every single way that they go about life. But if they don't have the exact life or outcome that you want, why are you following every single fucking thing to a T? Right? So I just think there's like a flavor of, hey, how do I take the principles of what they're doing and then put my own little flavor and bring authenticity to it, right?
That's exactly it. I don't think I've seen anybody with the life I want yet. Right.
Sure.
Like you can kind of see on social media or on stage, you're like, oh, they have aspects, but I have not, like, the life I'm going to create is mine, right? The life you're going to create is yours. And it's going to your point, it's going to have its own flavor. And I think that's what we all should probably be striving to do, is create our version of what perfect looks like.
Sure. A couple of quotes that I heard you say, so I'm going to read from here, is like, entrepreneurship is the ultimate self-development academy, right? Which I could not co-sign more on. But like, what's the hardest lesson that academy taught you?
That I'm not that good at anything, right? I'm not as good as I thought I was at anything. The things that got me to where I am today aren't going to get me to where I need to go in the future, right? So I just hired a new chief operating officer at my company, right? I didn't think I would ever have to do that. I was like, I can run operations, I can do that. What I realized very quickly in the last year, actually, specifically, was that I'm a great leader, but I'm a bad manager. And that strength and that weakness just cost me $300,000 a year in a W-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
But I would almost say it didn't cost you any, like the cost was like you continue to try and double down on that and not let an A player that you can hire for $300K pay for themselves 10 times over and allow you to stay in your zone of genius as a leader.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And, I think as an entrepreneur, we want to get good at everything. And to your point, it's like having the self-awareness is so difficult to just say, you know what? It's not a high leverage activity for me to go figure out how to do this. Let me finally let me hire someone that knows.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm going to learn from him a lot.
Yeah.
I watch what he does. I'm like, I would never have done it that way. And this is why you're in that seat. I'm in this seat.
Yeah. Asking, just for, we're in that process right now. Did you have to go headhunt that person? Like most, like guys that are looking, like you're paying $500K a year salary, they're typically not looking for jobs a lot of the time. You have to go poach them essentially.
You have to poach A players. I always poach A players. I got really lucky with this one. So I post every day on LinkedIn, right? And the reason I post on LinkedIn B2B is I thought it would get me customers. What happened by posting on LinkedIn every day for me was that I have this huge Rolodex of people that want to work for me, which is wild. Like the amount of people banging on my door to come work for me it surprises me every single day. So whenever I need somebody new, an A player, I post on LinkedIn, hey, does anyone know anyone? And I get flooded with people. I got a DM from a guy I respect a lot that built a $250 million company and sold it. I'm like, so, okay, you know what you're talking about. He DMs me, he goes, hey, if you're looking for the best COO on planet Earth, this is the guy. He was mine. If I was going to do it again, I'd hire him.
Wow.
So I just interviewed him one time and hired him.
That's so good. That's ultimately a better funnel that you can build is a hiring funnel. That's very dialed in versus a way to get clients. So you've built a successful company at this point. after transitioning to sales. You also mentioned in another podcast, it's actually in one of your Instagram reels, the best part of having money is buying your way out of Gen Pop experiences. I love that. I genuinely love how because it seems like I know where your heart is, but the content you create is polarizing on purpose.
Yes, on purpose.
Break that down for me. No filter.
Yeah.
There is no filter on this. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
All right. I don't like people. Right. Like I think there were 2 times recently where I really realized I'm never doing a Gen Pop thing ever again. I'm never buying general admission ever again. One was we went to F1 at COTA in Austin, and I didn't see a single lap. And I'm like, because I bought general admission. We I was with people that they didn't want to spend money on tickets. I was like, oh, it'll be cool. I didn't see anything. I was like, what is the point of this? And then the last time I went to Reggae Rise Up and I was doing a little shrooms, and I was just really turned off by everyone around me. Mm-hmm. And this is truly no filter, and I hope I don't get canceled, but I was like, I'm better than all these people, and I feel really weird about, and it was probably the shrooms talking, but I feel really weird about being around people, and I only want to surround myself with people that are on my level or above. Right. And I think that's people are going to hate me for saying that, but that's just the truth.
No, and I think a lot of people get it misconstrued because they believe it has to be the same level of how much money you make or things it's more about level of personal development, awareness, desire for contributing to society. There's a level of energy that people bring versus just how much money you make or what clothes you wear, etc. And I think it sounds like that's what more you're referring to.
Yeah, the frequency. I mean, I have really good friends that don't make any money, but they're great humans and they teach me a lot every time I talk to them, whether it's them asking me advice and I can give them advice that I'm like, oh crap, I'm not following this on my own. I just learned something from, or just whatever it is that they're doing, I learn about their business or what they do at work, and it just teaches me something. And if I could, I'm a student of the game in terms of just life. I want to learn as much as possible. I look at skills like they're Pokemon. I want to catch them all.
Well said. I like that. Now, so people that are just starting out, everyone has to go through their version of Gen Pop experience just because they don't have the physical resources to actually purchase it, right? We all had to sit in the back of the plane at some point. And funny enough, my girlfriend would always make me take a shower every time I'd sit in the back of the plane because you smell like the back of the plane. You smell like poor people. And so how do you go about, what's your advice to a younger generation that's coming up in entrepreneurship that doesn't have the resources to always get VIP tickets, et cetera? How do you take the risk of going into something that you physically can't afford in the short term?
Yeah. So what I always used to do is I used to put my back against the wall. My dad, your parents will protect you as much as possible. So when I was my first job out of college, I was making nothing. I was making $65K, but I thought I was the man because I was the #1 sales rep in this SMB company, whatever. And I bought an Infiniti G37X. And my dad was like, dude, that's too much money. You can't really afford that. That's an irresponsible purchase. But I sat there and I'm like, no, 1, this is a sick car, but 2, I can barely afford it. And if I can barely afford it, my back is going to be against the wall, and I'll figure out how to make more money. Mm-hmm. A lot of my friends will say, oh, I don't want to do this or I can't do that because of money. And my response, I'm going to bet to make a T-shirt that says this: just make more money. Just make more money.
Yep.
And that's not really tactical advice, but that's truly how I think about the world. Anytime I hit a limitation or I feel under pressure, I just need to make more money.
Dude, I feel so gaslit a lot of the times by my friends as well, because I have a group of friends I love so dearly from back home. They're my back home friends.
Yes.
And sometimes there's a lot of scarcity in said back home friends when it comes to finances, et cetera. And these guys, they want to get the $17 tickets to the Mets games where it's $150 to sit right behind home plate. It's guys, we're gonna stand versus fucking just spending. We all make enough money to pay $100, right? Help me understand how you navigate conversations with friends like that and how you kind of lead them and lead by example to get them to a point where they are getting uncomfortable making decisions like that. Because I don't want to come off condescending to them because I'm gaslit, oh, I'm a dick, and I still love them. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And it's really tough. And, I think we go through seasons of friendship with our back home friends or our college friends, which is another cohort, and then our now professional friends, right? Sure. So I feel like I have 3. I have back home, I have college, and I have professional. And everyone knows that my toxic trait is that if you hang out with me, I'm going to bully you into becoming better. I'm going to talk about your work. I'm going to talk about your business. I'm going to force the conversation. I cannot bullshit about I don't even know who won the NBA finals. I really don't. I don't watch sports. I don't bullshit. I want to talk about work all the time, and that's probably another toxic trait. but I'm gonna bully you into talking about it. I want to hear what's going on, and I will give you advice, and I will peer pressure you into taking it, because you're not allowed to get advice from me and not take it. And people are like, think I'm a dick sometimes about that, but I'm also like, dude, you're gonna make more money after hanging out with me, because I'm just gonna give you the tactical thing of step 1, 2, 3, 4, but guess what? It happens.
Yep. How does one like manage the dichotomy of, hey, like for example, this watch, I bought it before I could barely afford it.
Back against the wall.
But I was in sales, and so I knew that if I bought it, I knew I had to figure out a way to afford it.
Correct.
Right. How do you do that if you're just a W-2 employee? Can it work?
If the opportunity vehicle you're in warrants it, then yes, it can work. But if you're, no offense to the accountants, if you're an accountant at some company making $80,000 a year and you don't have an opportunity to make more, then you're in the wrong role, brother. If you want a life that's better, you're just not gonna get it. So I've peer pressured a lot of people into getting new jobs.
Yeah.
I had a buddy who was a project manager at a construction company, and he did pretty well. He made like $120,000. He's like, "Hey man, one of our other buddies said I should talk to you about, what you do for a living." I was like, "Oh, what's your incentive? Like, do you want to just know how much money I make, or are you actually asking because you want to learn?" He goes, "I want to learn." 4 hours later, he quit his job.
Fuck yeah.
To go into sales.
Yeah.
The same day.
That's so good.
And now he's making triple.
That's so good. I love that. What do you have to say to, like, I know you're a big proponent of men's health. You're a partner in Overtime, I believe,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. Julian and Jacob, those guys are fucking
the best.
awesome.
They're the best. I love working with them.
What do you have to say for like males specifically that are doing quote unquote low T activity? What does low T activity look like, and how do we kind of stop the pussification of men in our society?
I mean, low T activity is being complacent in life and not having bigger ambition. I think, testosterone is the bedrock of men, and it drives ambition unlike any other thing in your cellular biology, right? The higher T you have, the more ambitious, the more driven you are. And if you don't have ambition and drive, you probably have low T, scientifically or figuratively. So it's like, yeah, dude, get on your horse. Go. What's your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, let's go do that. Let's go figure out how that's going to happen. And again, like, by the way, the guys with low T out there, scientifically, it's not their fault. Right? Everything around us is designed to completely demolish our hormones. The water bottle we're drinking out of, the clothes I'm wearing probably are covered in chemicals that are destroying my hormones. It's not their fault, which is why we have an opportunity and a responsibility at Overtime to help guys get their cojones back in the form of testosterone, but overall just get optimized. Both, and by the way, again, when you're optimized physically and scientifically, everything else in life gets better.
Sure. Walk me through some of the darker moments, because it's like, I don't want it to get misconstrued that people oh, all right, Adam's got it all fucking figured out. He's the perfect guy and he's got high T and all this stuff. Walk me through some of the darker moments that people can relate to, where you may have fucked it all up at some point, or you had your low moments, or there were times of low energy. Walk me through that journey.
I mean, I think for me, it's almost every day, right? Like, I'm gonna talk out of both sides of my mouth. On one hand, everything works out for me. And this is crazy to say, nothing really bad has happened to me. And that might be delusion. Maybe if some of the things that happened to me happened to somebody else, they'd have stories about it. I can't remember anything bad happening to me. Everything just seems to work out. I trust God in that. I trust the universe in that. I trust my own energy, and just things always work out. Now, can I complain? Sure, I'll complain. Not many people will listen, but I'll do it anyways. I have this great business that I don't like. I don't know if you ever fall into this trap, but I don't really like my business. It's one of the reasons why I joined Overtime, is because I have more fun working with Overtime's problems than my own business. Yep. And so I'm in this opportunity vehicle that's extremely lucrative. The goal is to sell it for $100 million. There's a lot of precedent in the market that these companies sell for $100 million. And there's no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But I don't like it. Am I having fun? Not really. Woe is me, right? Like, that seems like a silly complaint, but for me, that's the low point. If I had to choose something else, it's lonely, right? Entrepreneurship is lonely. You're by yourself. No one really understands it unless you're another entrepreneur. And I've worked really hard over the last 2 years to meet more entrepreneurs in this town. Buddy, I bought a Ferrari, not because I give a shit about Ferraris. I don't care about cars at all. I bought it to meet more entrepreneurs, and it's comical how well it worked.
Sure. And to your point, I mean, if I only want to jump off a bridge 2 days a week, it's a good week. In this.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
I get it. Like, like just because you're in a great vehicle that is like super lucrative, that's doing really cool shit in the world, doesn't mean it's like has to be like your utmost passion in the world when you're working day to day. So, could not relate more.
My passion is freedom. My passion is doing whatever I want to do in that exact moment.
Sure.
I think that's really what I'm going for, is just the ultimate freedom to just, if I want to do nothing, I can do nothing.
Do you think you've gotten there yet, or are you still a little bit of a slave to the company?
I would say I'm definitely, yes to both. I mean, the company will grow. It'll grow 30% year over year, but I'm not here to have it grow 30% year over year without me. I'm here to have it grow triple digits year over year so we can get to that $100 million exit in 3 to 4 years.
Amen. Love that. So you mentioned you bought the Ferrari. I know it's a huge tool to be able to bring to car meets, etc. Where does the obsession with watches come in? I mean, I look at your Instagram. It's like every post is basically a watch post. Help me understand where that obsession comes in.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe three, multifaceted. Number one, my dad always had a Rolex growing up, and I was always like enamored with this Rolex, and he promised me, he broke his promise. He's like, when you get your MBA, I'll give you a Rolex, and he never did, and I still give him shit about it. And he'll give me one eventually when I keep giving him shit. I always just looked at it as like a status symbol of success. Like, this is what you get when you've kind of made it. I bought my first Rolex when I was 25 years old. When I just got my first enterprise job in tech. I went from making 65 grand a year to $120,000 base, and that year I made 350 in 2015 as a child. And so I bought my Rolex, and I was like, okay, this was a milestone thing for me. I bought my Sky Dweller whenever I had another big milestone in business. So I attach milestones to watches. And for that reason, I have this huge emotional attachment. I don't know if you had a milestone in your career where you bought your AP.
Funny enough, I was actually switching and like merging businesses, and it was actually the lowest point money-wise that was at, and that's why I bought it.
But it was a big moment.
Yeah, it was
right?
definitely a big moment for sure.
So that's like, hey, you'll never forget the story of that transition. And I bought this watch at that time, and that'll always have a story. But now I have a bunch of watches that mean nothing, and I don't care about them, but I care about my milestone ones.
So why do you keep buying them?
I have an addiction.
Are you the guy that sees it as like, do you just justify like, oh, it's an asset, it's not going to lose value, or you just genuinely have an addiction to buying it?
I would say yes to both. I mean, like people online, they always say like, oh, buy what you like, not for the investment or for the status. And I'm like, why not do all of it?
Sure.
Why not get something that will appreciate or hold its value? You like it, and it's a flex. Like, why not do it all? In terms of the Instagram, Jacob and Julian challenged me. They're like, hey, you should build an Instagram. I've never been an Instagram guy. I didn't care about social media. I've always been a corporate guy building, whatever. And I look at how well Overtime does on their Instagrams alone. They built a 8-figure company on Instagram. I said, okay, this is a skill. I want to collect skills like Pokemon. They challenged me. I said, okay, let's go. I'm going to build up my Instagram. I post one video on watches. It gets 600,000 views. I said, okay, I guess people are interested in this topic. And I'm interested in it, so I might as well just keep talking about it.
Sure. Now, does that translate to any bit business related? Because it's not like you're advertising your business at all, right?
None.
Yeah.
not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just building it. Like, I do have a goal one day. I have a few goals, right? So sell the company for $100 million. Open up a small family office where I invest in 3 to 5 companies with young entrepreneurs, kind of like I do with Jacob and Julian, and help them, right? I want to help other companies grow. And I also have a dream to have a CPG business where I have some kind of consumable product, right? And an audience is a really good way to do that. So I figure, hey, if I'm 7 years away from a CPG business, I should probably start an audience now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well said.
And everyone talks about like, oh, chess, not checkers. But no one knows what chess is. I just told you what chess is. If you have a plan in 5 to 7 years, start building the groundwork now, as long as it doesn't distract from what your core thing you're doing now is.
Yep. And I mean, it just seems like you're already planting the seed, and there's no like negative tangential thing that could come from it, right?
No, yeah. Unless
besides a little hate on Instagram.
So my wife stopped looking at my Instagram comments because she was getting pissed off. She was like, "Oh my God, all these people are talking shit." And I'm like, "They're just losers. Like, it's okay."
Well, that's like, if you don't get enough shit talk on your comments, then it's not going to go as viral as it needs to, right? It's not polarizing enough.
Yeah.
Our
That's
best
the rage
videos videos are just get destroyed, right? We got 5 million views on a video, and it's like everyone's split down the middle, but that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
cool
what you
with it.
want.
Bobby lost sleep for a couple of weeks for a little bit. He was commenting on everyone. I was like, dude, You're
I
wild.
respond to a lot of them. You know, I only have like, what, 3,000 followers. So I'm like, all right, I'm a man of the people for now.
Sure.
Right? When I grow the account more, I won't be.
Underrated account, in my opinion. I was very surprised when like there were certain videos that didn't pop off that should have.
Yeah.
I actually just commented
Yeah,
on it
I
earlier.
saw that. I appreciate
I was like, dude, this one did not get enough love.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So like I also seeing on your Instagram that you're like forcing yourself to get into a certain shape or else you're going to give $25,000 to charity.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Are you a guy that like there needs to be a high enough level of pain for you to like stay in discipline, or like what does this come from?
No, it just sounded cool. I mean, so again, you want to be around people who are on your level or better, right? So I started hanging out with Jacob and Julian with Overtime, and these guys are jacked.
Yep.
And I didn't like feeling physically inferior. And so one day I was like, I'm going to get in crazy shape. I'm going to get to, like, 2026 is going to be the year where I'm going to get 200 pounds lean, which is, by the way, I got 20 pounds of muscle I need to somehow put on without doing steroids. And I'm going to do it, if not get really close.
Sure.
And again, it's just being around people that are elite. And I'm like, I can't be the bitch. I can't be the one that's fat. I wasn't ever fat, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm going to publicly match your 25,000.
Okay.
With the same thing on my end. So I'm still on this journey to get to 200. I'm 211 right now. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction of losing weight to stay and be lean as fuck.
Let's go.
I'm happy to keep each other accountable on that because there's now $50,000 on the line.
Let's do it.
What's the timeline?
Well,
By
he's
the
end of the year. I'll
end of
be
the
200
year.
pounds by August, or else I owe another $10,000 to someone else. So
Okay.
I'm fucking real invested into this.
Are you
thing.
on Retta?
No, I'm completely clean.
Totally clean.
Well, tell me about Retta. I know we're taking this podcast in a million different directions, but I know like it's somewhat on topic with what you're doing in Overtime. Help me understand Retta, because I've never done any diligence into any of these GLPs, peptides, etc. But I'm hearing everything about them.
Yeah. First and foremost, I'll start by saying I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to anything I say. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Thank you for the disclaimer.
Of course, I'm the CFO and equity owner of Overtime. I'm the money guy. I just so happen to take a couple of these peptides. So the guys all know way more than I do. But Retta, it's a GLP. It's a triple agonist. It basically, the way I describe it in layman's terms, is it helps you lose weight. It targets fat, visceral fat, especially around your belly. And it makes it so you don't eat as much, but it doesn't eat away at your connective tissue and your muscles, right? So you see the like early Ozempic people, they were shriveling away looking like they were dying. You see the early tirzepatide people, they looked like sick, right? Retta's the one that doesn't attack your connective tissue, your bone density, and your muscles. So it's like you get to stay jacked and lean.
Interesting.
In the most layman's terms possible.
Yeah. Now, how do you do it in such a way to where it's sustainable? Because that's my biggest fear. Where that's what I'm really trying to understand is like the last thing I want to do is do this thing just to hit a goal, and then it's not like 5 years from now I'm not being able to stay in this exact shape because I'm like quote unquote in my head at least I'm cheating, but I know it's not that.
Yeah, so you got to be responsible, right?
Sure.
That's first and foremost. And like we have providers and we have people that actually know what they're talking about. They'll help dose you. So like there's people out there taking 6 milligrams of Retta a week, and that's insane. That's irresponsible. It's dangerous. Like don't do that. Like talk to an actual person that knows what they're doing. Like I'm only on a milligram, which is basically a microdose. I take a milligram a week, and it's just enough for me. And like, so if I come off of it, if and when I will come off of it, if I come off of it, it's not going to affect me that drastically.
Sure.
It's the people that take way too much and then cut it cold turkey. They get in trouble, and they don't know their body doesn't know how to handle it.
Is it contradictory to your goal of getting to 200 pounds though?
I want to stay lean.
Sure.
Dude, I'm eating 340 grams of protein a day.
God, holy shit.
Yeah.
How are you doing that? What's your
I eat all day long. It's like it's a part-time job.
how many meals a day? Like 5, 6?
5 meals a day and 1 protein shake.
Fucking A, dude.
Yeah, I eat a lot of. Dude, I just spent $380 on steak. That's gonna last me a week and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just the game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
My buddy was like, he texted me. He's like, hey man, like, what are you doing to get in this crazy shape? And I told him, I was like, hey, meal plan, meds, peptides, whatever, working out like a dog. And he goes, aren't you tired of eating the same thing every day? And I was like, tired, bro. Like, I have a goal. There's no getting tired.
Yeah.
I don't care about tired. I don't care if I like the meals. I don't care if I'm, working out too hard. Like, I have a goal, and you just do what's required to hit it.
How important is your environment to being able to stay disciplined to that goal? Because I feel like every time that I'm not surrounded by the right people, it's a lot easier to compromise on my non-negotiables than if I have this like subconscious peer pressure when I'm around really good dudes that are keeping me accountable.
Yeah, I don't spend time with people that aren't going to hold me accountable or be understanding of the lifestyle that I have. So like, let's say I go to the cigar bar, right? All my buddies that I'm going with, they know I'm doing this. They're going to get a drink, and not a single one are they going to be like, hey man, do you want a scotch or do you want a bourbon? They're not even going to ask me because they know what I'm doing. Whereas the guys that don't get it or don't know how to hold themselves accountable, they'll be like, oh dude, it's just one beer. You're out with the boys, have a drink, whatever. Dude, you're not my friend.
Yep.
If you're going to ask me that and you know my goals, you're not my friend.
It's gay behavior.
It's very, very gay.
Yeah.
I would agree.
That's
low T.
That is low T. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, so you mentioned that you're in faith-based as well. Mm-hmm. You're wearing a cross. Where does grace come into the picture when you do inevitably slip up on some days?
Listen, man, we're all human. I told myself I'm not going to go on stage. I'm human. I'm going to take my wife out to dinner on her birthday, and we're going to do things as humans, and that's okay. I'll give myself grace, but I also have a goal, right? I'm not a complete psychopath, but I'm going to hit the goal.
Sure. Well, you could be a complete psychopath, and it could be, it's both ends.
Yeah. Some people would
Let's
probably
not get
call
it
me
twisted.
crazy.
You're a psychopath. It's all good. We're cut from the same cloth in that. Yeah. Well, tell me about some of these goals. So you're super ambitious. Is it fair to say motivated by both like money, success as well? Like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty motivated by the same. Where does like the engine come from when it comes to your business ambition?
I don't think I've ever said this publicly, so I'm gonna say it now. I went through school not being popular, not having a lot of friends, not really having the life. Like I listened to you and your business partner talk about, being the quarterback of the college, being the guy. I was never the guy, and I was like, okay, what can I be the guy? Like, what's the I'll show them, even though none of them are paying attention. It's like, what can I show myself to be the guy? I was never athletic. I was never the guy. So that's where it all comes from, is like not really being adequate, not being really popular, not getting the girls when I was a kid, and saying, okay, like I'm going to change that. And business is the ultimate equalizer, right? Every billionaire is 5'7". You don't need to be tall or good looking. You just need to work hard and be in the right opportunity vehicle. So
sure.
I see business as the ultimate equalizer. And also, you're only in high school for 4 years. I'm going to be doing business for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Right. So I would say that's probably where most of it comes from. And then also not having the option. My parents, there was no option to not be successful for my parents. It's like, no, you're going to be successful. You have to be. Mm-hmm. You don't have a choice.
Now, how do you go from turning that, where it sounds like relative insecurity early on, to this sense of like insecurity could fuel you for only long before you burn out? Like, how do you turn that into being so secure in what you're doing now?
Today, I'm completely secure. Sure. No one is at more peace with what the future is going to look like than me, right? Like I just lost like 300 grand in the stock market. I don't care. Not because I have a lot of money, but because I know I'm going to sell my business for $100 million. Like it's going to happen. I have no doubt in my mind. I'm totally secure in all of that. And I have a ton of undeniable evidence that I am who I say I am at this point. To take, a quote from Alex Hormozy, you don't gain confidence by yelling affirmations in the mirror. You have a stack of undeniable evidence. And I just have a lot of that. Like, okay, here's my stack of undeniable evidence that I'm generous. I give all this money to charity. Here's a stack of undeniable evidence that I help my friends. I've done so much of that. Here's a stack of undeniable evidence in my career, in business, in everything, right? Yeah. So like I think a lot about the reputation that I have, right? Austin, I don't know what Austin said to you about me, but I think of, okay, how do I want people to talk about me when I'm not in the room? And then I just act that way to reinforce that.
Sure. Well, to your point as well, is like Austin didn't have to say much about you. Austin's just such a high level dude that I respect so much that if he refers you to this, I'm like, oh, this guy's already a fucking savage. You know, this is definitely somebody that I want to connect with. So yeah, well said there, man. Now, for people that are like, I'll speak for myself because I went through this journey. I was not the person that always followed through on every commitment that I made when I was younger. I manipulated my way through high school and college. I got through at a really elite level in sports, grades, all that stuff, just by literally just pure skill and also just fucking manipulation, right? And then I had the initial motivation, which was my insecurity of getting my ex-girlfriend back coming out of college, where I basically had this like fake it till you make it mentality of like, look at me, I'm on this positivity wave and doing all this shit, which somehow coincidentally stacked enough evidence to actually believe I was this person.
Yeah.
And so I was like faking it and then actually became the person. How do you do that when you start out in a way that's like not as corny as the way I did it? Like how at least would you recommend somebody that maybe wasn't a person of their word, that wants to change their lives? What's the first micro step they need to take?
I think it's seeing what good looks like, right? It's maybe having some role models. It's looking at people that have accomplished what you might want to accomplish and just studying what they do and just do that, right? Very simply. And it's like, as cliche as it sounds, it's one foot in front of the other. Start small, make a commitment to yourself. Look at what this other person does. Okay, if they read books, go read a book and just do that. Okay, cool. That's one little piece of evidence that you've done something cool. Okay, they go exercise. They take care of their health. Do that. They show up to work early and leave late. They study work outside of the actual hours of 9 to 5. I mean, there's things that like everyone says, success leaves clues. Just start taking those clues and putting them into your life and do one by one. You don't have to do it all tomorrow. Yeah, just start, to your point, stacking the evidence.
Consistency wins, man. That was our first ever podcast. That's actually what got it to stick for me. Was the way I changed my life was I was always the guy that wanted to hit the home run every single fucking time. Whereas like, hey, if I want to get in shape, I'm going to run a marathon tomorrow, even though I haven't ran in 10 years. But you burn out so quickly if you're not committed to these consistent micro habits daily, in and day out. And so the way I reverse engineered was like, hey, where are guys like Adam? Where are guys like Ed Milet? Like all these people that like I look up to at the time, what are they doing? And how do I reverse engineer exactly what they were doing? And put my own flavor on it over time, but like, what are the daily disciplines that I can do? If I just keep doing that and try not to do something too big at once, it is literally fucking impossible to fail because it's like logic, math, and science at the end of the day. Yeah. What are some of those micro habits for you? Like I know fitness and health is a huge tenet. I
think you said it better than I did, so really well said. I appreciate that. I can chew on that when I go home and think about that. I mean, micro habits, so I told you, I got married. I have 2 young kids. I have tech stack. I do a lot with overtime. I have my 200 pounds lean goal. I'm trying to build a social following on Instagram. Like I have a lot of stuff going on. So the micro habits are the inputs to cultivate each one of those goals. But the macro habit is just being relentlessly protective of my time. There's so many people out there wasting time. Like I made a joke earlier. I don't know who won the NBA finals. Brother, I don't have time to sit and watch a basketball game for 3 hours or however long they are. Like, I don't know how you can complain about your life or not be where you are in life and then spend all day Sunday watching football. What is that doing for you? And like, everyone's going to say, oh, dude, you sound miserable. No, but I'm the happiest guy out there. I'm hitting my goals. Like, I use every ounce of my time wisely. I'm insanely routine driven, like all successful people are. I do the same thing every day.
Yep.
And, Jacob was like, he was giving me coaching on my Instagram. He's like, hey, man, like, what do your friends say about you? Why do they like you? And I'm like, I don't know. I work all the time. And he's like, you should say that on Instagram. He's like, all you do is work. I'm like, correct. That's what I like to do, too.
Yeah. To be fair, I did watch every single Knicks game in the finals.
If you're a fan, that makes a whole lot of sense. Are you from there?
I'm just like I'm a huge sports fan, and I'll watch a lot of like the elimination games because I love watching like really good games.
Yeah.
But to your point, I am ruthlessly eliminating anything else that doesn't serve me. Right? Sports does fit that bill for me.
When you have kids, you're not gonna have time to watch.
Fair enough. Exactly. So like I have a little bit of space to fill, but my default has now become no because I've said yes to so many things that I've like addition through subtraction all the time. So what's your method now when you have so many more opportunities coming to you all the time? You have a semblance of money where people are asking you to invest all the time. Like, how are you discerning where to invest your time, money, and energy into?
I think there's 2 things. You already said it. Like, no is the most powerful word ever for me. And people don't know how to react when I say no. They're like, hey, man, you want to go get a drink? And I'm like, no. Just stone cold no. And they like look like they're expecting an excuse. Oh, no, I'm busy. Everyone likes to sugarcoat. I'll be like, no, I don't want to do that at all. people don't know
sounds
how to
like the worst idea ever.
Yeah, sounds like I'd rather do anything else. Yeah. I would say the second piece is leverage, right? Every second, every minute, every hour that we put into something should yield some kind of return. And when you think of leverage, like if I spend 1 hour and I do this, what's my return versus if I spent that hour doing something else? What's going to generate the higher return? And to me, that's leverage. And so I'm always thinking in terms of leverage. What's going to get me the best return for the time, effort, money, resources, distraction, whatever that is?
How does that translate to fatherhood and being a husband, where it's like not as transactional?
Brother, it's the hardest thing I do today.
Yeah, that's asking for a friend because I'm about to enter that season of my life.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna get really I don't know what you're gonna do. I'm extremely frustrated because what I've made the decision to always be there for my wife and always be there for my kids and miss out on a lot of really cool things and miss out on a lot of opportunity. I tell my wife, I'm like, you know how hard it is to build $100 million company working 9 to 5? It's impossible. Yeah. But I'm doing it. I am doing it, and I've committed to doing it. And if it takes me a couple, like I think I can do it this is no knock on my wife and kids, I'm very happy. If I was single, I could do it in 3. But because I'm not and I have kids that are young that I'm there for, it's going to take 4 or 5, who knows.
How long did it take you to be okay with that?
I'm still not okay. I battle it every single day. I pray about it. I talk to my wife about it. I talk to my friends about it. This is at the top of mind for me. Just because I've made the decision to do something doesn't mean it's easy. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's really it for me. I've made the decision to always prioritize the family over everything else. And it's hard every day.
I respect you a lot for that because a lot of people will say like, that was easy to do. You know, my family is number one, which it can be, but that doesn't make it any less hard when there's so much pressure going on here. Yes. And crazy enough, like a lot of the pressure that we create as entrepreneurs is completely fake.
It's completely
like, no
fake.
one gives a fuck if you sell for 100 million or not. Like it's like
nope.
like there's not a fucking magazine that's going to publish if you didn't make it in 3 years or so.
Exactly.
But that shit that we play in our head is so real at the time. Walk me through that as a man. I want to talk specifically as a man because I can only relate, not a woman. Be very clear, there's only a man and a woman. We've said that multiple times on the podcast. This is my stance.
Yes.
Walk me through that as a man where like, you know, I don't want to look at like mental health is a very dicey thing, right? Because everyone floats out mental health and it's like a lot of times it's a little bit soft in my opinion. But mental health, it's real in some way, sense, or form because there's a lot of shit going on in our heads. And naturally, especially if we come from like immigrant families, which I do as well, blue collar type of work, it was never really popular to talk about your feelings whatsoever.
No.
How do you manage when everything's just so fucking bottled up and everyone's demanding for your time, your attention, your resources, and like you just want to blow up and you're just in this jail in your head?
I don't address it at all. It's funny. So we also didn't talk about feelings so much. I've been to therapy 3 times. I've won therapy every time, right? Like truly, like the therapist said, like, wow, like you're doing great. I'm not. But one of the therapists said, she's like, you don't have any feelings at all. She's like, how do you feel today? I'm like, well, what are the options? She's like, you don't know what feelings are? I'm like, well, no. Can you give me some examples? I'm like, I have content, annoyed, or frustrated. That's all I have. And she had to give me a piece of paper with a list of all the different feelings and their definitions. And that was the exercise. I simply just don't have feelings, and I'm a robot.
What makes you joyful in moments?
I don't know. I don't know. Winning?
Do you like it?
I do like winning.
No. Do you like being where you're at?
I think, yeah. I think, like with the emotions thing?
Yep.
I think it's a superpower of mine. I think I'm going to, like, it's, a lot of people would consider it a weakness. I'm going to just say it's not a weakness because I'm delusional. And it's a superpower, and it's why I am who I am today, and it's why I've been successful. I have a short-term memory. I don't dwell on things. If something bad happens, no, it didn't. It just happened, and that's okay, and I'm just going to keep it rolling.
I don't disagree with the approach at all, because like as long as it's not coming from a form of disassociation, which it sounds like sometimes it might be,
Could be.
We got shit to do.
Yeah,
like
bro.
There's a short amount of time that we are on this planet, and you strike me as someone who's purpose-driven that actually wants to do it for the benefit of society and leave your imprint. And not very selfishly either. Am I there or am I at a left field?
There's, I would say I want to help people. So like my long-term goal is to help younger entrepreneurs, right? And invest and do that whole thing. I love helping people. When people come to me with problems, I love solving them. That's all I really want to do ever is help people. Is there any selfish motive? Of course there is some selfish motive. Like I only want to sell for $100 million, this arbitrary number, because it's going to feed my ego. But then you think of the legacy of family. Okay, my dad instilled entrepreneurship in me, and he instilled success in me, and I've surpassed him, and I'm looking forward to the day my kids surpass me.
Yeah. Did your dad, do you think, struggle with the same, or not, I don't want to say struggle, so I don't want to put that on you, but did your dad deal with the same like emotional state throughout as well?
I don't know. He's a robot as well.
The reason I asked is because I've gone down this rabbit hole a lot, and like I've learned a little bit more about like epigenetics, where like if your family previously doesn't deal with any of the trauma, it gets passed through you genetically.
Sure.
And I actually did a therapy where I was sat with a fucking blindfold and did MDMA and had somebody counsel me through like psychedelic somatic therapy, like trying to get the emotions out of the body.
Did it work?
It worked for a little bit, but you have to be super consistent or else like the trauma just keeps getting restored. And I've just like been relatively disassociated for a long time. But I'm kind of the same way where I have like these swings. It's just like, but I've started to create a lot more awareness around like how to manage the swings, not to try and eliminate them at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about this. So like ayahuasca is really popular now, and MDMA and all the psilocybin and all this stuff. And I've been recommended many times, hey, you should go do an ayahuasca trip. And I'm like, I don't want to change. What if I come back and I decide that I want to go back, I want to leave my family and go backpacking in the mountains? That'd be a travesty. That'd be a disservice to me, my family, and the world. If I come back, like I like who I am.
Yeah. And this is like the exact opposite of what ayahuasca, like you're not tripping at all or anything. You're just like going through these weird waves where like if you don't actually release trauma from your body, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, it gets stored in your body as actual physical pain.
Yeah.
And so like there's times where like if your forearm or your back's hurting, a lot of times it's psychological. Most of the pain that we have is psychological. Typically not through like your blunt force trauma where like, if you got
it's not an injury.
Contact. Yeah. So with that, this just helped me get a lot more in tune with understanding who I am, why I am the way I are, and like essentially creating a life for me where I wasn't searching for like this radical overcompensation of joy. I just wanted equanimity in my life, which is what you explained as like contentness. I'm not too high, not too low. I just want to limit the really, really lows because they fucking suck, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not a service to society when I'm like mega annoyed and frustrated. And that's like sadly been my default for a long time because that's what I get that from my dad. So I'm never going to tell you what to do, but I would highly encourage at least exploring that modality because it's like it's not this crazy radical shift. It's this subtle little one that kind of opens up a little bit more extended periods of that contentness. That makes sense.
No, I mean that sounds interesting. I mean, and like people cry.
Oh yeah, there's some like this cures PTSD a lot of times. It didn't like I didn't have this crazy emotional reaction to it, but some people do for sure. I haven't cried in like 15 years. The only time I cry is if I see like an emotional movie. I love like.
I was gonna say like America's Got Talent. I cry every time because I see other people happy. I don't know what that like does to me. Like I see other people happy and realizing their dream, and it just makes me like, or like I'll be in church and I'll cry because the church gave somebody, whatever happened.
Yep.
But like I haven't cried for me in probably since 15 years.
I wonder, like I could not relate more. Right.
I don't know why.
I'll watch Rudy.
Yeah.
And, like I'm fucking dying. Right. Yeah. And the same thing. Like it's almost like this weird fucking diabolical form of like masochism where I prefer seeing other people more joyful than myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have this massive burden to bear and this all the weight's on my back and everyone else can enjoy their lives at the bear of my sacrifice almost.
I don't understand why. I feel the same way. I don't know why we're like that.
It's fucked up, man. I don't have a solution for you, but I'm just wondering like I need to go a little bit more into it. At least I want to understand it. I don't know if I want to change it yet or not, but I just really want to understand myself a little bit deeper, which takes time, which then takes time away from like the guilt. There's guilt of like, oh, I could just go put that into building my $100 million vision, right? Sure. And all those things. So I'm just planting a seed and just opening a random conversation. I have no question about it. I'm just like, I'm
maybe I'll join you on that journey of discuss because I've never actually cared why. Yeah. I'm like, oh no, this is just who I am, and I'm doing pretty well, so I should just not change anything.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm less focused on like the attribution of why and more focused on like how is this going to impact me 20, 30 years from now when it does continue to compound and maybe I'm not as present as I need to be for kids and stuff. But you have the evidence of being present for your kids. I'm a little bit more fearful of like what it can look like when I do start having kids and a wife and stuff. So life
changes, man, in a big way. I mean, everyone says that you're never ready, but you're never ready until it happens, and then you have a lot of decisions you have to make.
Yeah,
and they're going to be tough decisions, and if you do the right thing, it'll frustrate you.
But when did you make the decision, and how hard was it when it was like, hey, I'm going to make this a huge part of my life where I'm going to marry my wife, have kids, knowing the sacrifice it was going to take in other areas?
I don't think I knew the sacrifice, to be honest. I it didn't dawn on me how much work kids are if you are a present father, right? Like I have friends that one of my friends joked, he's like, dude, my dad didn't do anything until I was 6. I'm like, that sounds kind of nice. I was like, what? Like, you can do that? I didn't know that was an option. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, you don't really know how. I have 2 kids under 3, right? So I have a 2.5-year-old and an 8-month-old, and so you're watching the toddler like every second they're awake. Mm-hmm. When the nanny's not there, there's no choice, and so you're just doing that. And you can be like, you ever been talking to somebody and they're on their phone and you're a little annoyed?
Yeah.
Imagine a toddler trying to talk to you. You're a toddler trying to talk to you and you're on your phone. What a dick. Yeah. Right? Like, wouldn't that? Yeah. That's kind of sad. You're like, well, now I got to put my phone away. Fuck this email, I guess. My blue-eyed toddler, who's adorable, is asking me, or is like trying to tell me something. I should pay attention there.
Sure.
It's the right thing to do, even though I don't want to do it always.
I just really appreciate how authentic you are about it. And I'm not doing this to blow smoke up your ass. It's just most people don't say that.
Nobody says they don't really like hanging out with their kids that much.
Everyone's like, hey, dude, it's like the most joyful thing ever. And I'll like...
They're lying, bro. They're lying. It's really hard.
Sure.
It's really hard. It's a lot of work, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like, truly, it is cool. And it's, the toddler's awesome. And the baby, when he grows up, he'll be cooler too.
Do you want to have more kids?
No. No, we're very done. Both my wife and I were very done.
Awesome. Does your wife work?
Yeah, by choice. I've been trying to peer pressure. It's funny. So last year, or after we had Grayson, the boy, the young one, I was like, hey, you don't have to work if you don't want to. And she's like, well, what would I do? I was like, I don't know, go to lunch. I don't care what you do. We'll keep the nanny. You could just not work. Do whatever you want. And she's like, I don't know what I would do. I don't want to be, she's like, I want to contribute. I want to use my brain. I said, cool. So she kept her job. And she tried to quit work. Like, she didn't try, but she asked me, she's like, hey, like, this sucks. Can I quit? I'm like, no. That wasn't like an open invitation forever. You don't get to quit work when you just feel like it. You got to now have to, like, let's finish you out on the year. And then after the year, then you can quit. But, like, you don't get to just stop. Like, how do I put this? The offer is not on the table indefinitely when you feel like it. Like, it has to be planned. If you're going to commit to working, then finish out the year. Commit to working.
Sure. Is that like... the sad in the sad family constitution?
Yeah, kind of. That's how my parents were.
Yeah,
very much like, hey, if you're gonna do this, like, how do I explain this, man? This, like, and I'm already doing this to my kids, and I notice like the generational trauma passing. But like, I would just like, I wasn't allowed to lay down. Like, if my parents walked in the room and I was laying down, it was get up and do that. I wasn't allowed to ever be sitting or laying or relaxing. And I'd just like walk by my mom and she'd be like, give me your phone. And she would just take my phone for a week for nothing, just to like fuck with me. Just so I'd be like, hey, life's not fair and I'm going to fuck with you and you're not allowed to relax and you're not allowed to really be happy and I'm just going to fuck with you all the time. And I kind of do that to people around me. I don't know why. It's probably horrible.
Well, I think it's just a part of your, like, if we don't ever make the conscious effort to change it, epigenetically, this just gets passed down to us. That's why, like, for so long, I lived in fear of just like not wanting to be exactly like my dad, and that's where therapy beat my ass for a while. So I did not beat therapy for quite some time. Yeah, man. I think humans are just such more like multi-dimensional because like I can relate to your backstory in some ways, and then in other ways, my parents, like, almost the worst thing they did for me was give me everything at the same time because my dad was so emotionally unavailable that he would just throw money or anything I wanted out of the problem so that he can just continue to work and do what he thought was the right thing for us. But really all we were asking for was his attention at the same time. Right. So I'm just really thinking through, like, what's the type of father that I want to be? And how do I take the awesome stuff that my dad did and also some of the stuff that I've learned not to do?
Dude, it's really hard. Right, like, I don't know, you saw the thing go viral like 6 months ago, like the 4 burning stove thing. Did you see this? No. It's like, okay, you have a stove top and there's 4 burners on it, and one is like your health and your family and your business and maybe your friends. I forget, maybe it was whatever. And at any given time, only 2 of the burners can be on at a time. Like, you can't do all of it at once. And this went super viral because everyone was like, yeah, you can't win at everything at the same time. And I'm like, bullshit. I'm going to win at all of it. All my burners are going to be on. I don't know how, and it's going to suck, and it's going to be really hard. I'm going to have to make tough decisions. but I'm going to win at all of it. But it's just going to be really, really hard. And it's going to be hard for you.
Well, I was going to push back if you were saying that like you agree with the 2 of the 4 because like you were bringing like this whole like quantum physics side of things of like I get anything I want, nothing bad has happened to me type of stuff. Have you ever studied quantum? Is that kind of where some of this stuff comes from at all?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Dude, I'm going to gift you a book if you're open to it called A Happy Pocket Full of Money.
Okay.
It's the quantum physics of achieving infinite abundance.
Okay.
And like how to do it in a more practical way. It's not like weird woo-woo quantum physics.
Okay.
It's like super relatable.
I love it.
So good, because I believe that quantum physics is the actual scientific evidence that God exists.
Okay.
Right? It's like God's playbook, where like this very hard concept to understand God and the universe and such is dialed down to a set of here's the laws of how we actually get there, if that makes sense.
I love it. Yeah, I know how to read. Right?
You know how to read?
I do know how to read.
Okay, cool.
So it's funny because like I'll talk about books.
I was going to give you the audiobook.
So that's what I was going with. So like I have a lot of friends like I'm like, hey, did you read this book? They're like, oh, I listened to an audiobook. I'm like, oh, you don't know how to read? And they're like, no, I know how to read. I'm like, when was the last time you read a book? And they're like, well, no, I don't read books. I'm like, then you don't know how to read, right? There's a difference between being able to read the sign out there and knowing what that says versus reading an actual book. Those are 2 completely different skills. So I fuck with all my friends. I'm like, oh, you don't know how to read.
Yeah.
Because when was the last time you sat down for a month and read a book?
This book, I would highly recommend you have it in front of you physically with a pen and paper and listen to the audiobook at the same time.
Okay.
I think that's one of the best ways to retain information around any book that you want to study.
Yeah, you study it.
Yeah, you get a lot more out of one page versus trying to listen to the entire book on audiobook.
Yeah.
The only audiobooks I'll listen to is like fiction books, just to like have it on in the background is better than like some levels of music for me. But if I'm reading like personal development or things like that, I'm trying to study.
You got to study it.
Because my ego got in the way for so long of like, I just want to read as many things so I can tell people how many books I read, but I didn't fucking read shit.
Mental masturbation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well said.
Just sitting there. I stole that from somebody else. Yeah, you just read books. You don't apply. You got to apply it.
Yep.
Right. And like, people go to masterminds and people meet people, they read books and whatever. And my whole thing is if I can get one thing from every thing I invest in, whether it's a mastermind or a group or whatever it is, then I'm good.
Yep.
And so every book I'm like, let me at least get one thing. And if I get more than one, that's great. But let me just get one.
What are you searching for now in this season?
Scale.
It's a broad word. Break down scale.
So, I mean, we've talked a lot about it. How do I win at everything? How do I win at everything at the same time? And I think the only way to achieve that is to scale every aspect of my life that I possibly can. So I hire the COO. That's part of scaling your business and being able to get yourself out of the business and still have it grow. Now I have to scale the sales and marketing function so I don't have to do that. So scaling the business to get me out so I can go win somewhere else. Scale and health in my 200-pound lean goal, that's getting on TRT and peptides. That's scaling the results and getting them done faster. Scaling the family, there is no way to scale the family because you just have to put in the time. Right, so let me scale where I can, as much as I can, to where I can go win everywhere at once.
Yeah, so it's like scaling the finite game where I can actually have this 1 + 1 = 2 equation so that I can spend time playing the infinite game where it's like my relationship with God, my relationship with my family, etc.
Yes.
That's really good, dude. I like the way you broke that down. That kind of clicks a light bulb for me because it's like I hear scale and you try and optimize a function in your life that's non-optimizable, essentially.
Can't.
And like if you try, like you can do it in some way, shape, or form by having a nanny and stuff like that. But like the only thing your family's asking for is your attention.
That's all, man. I mean, so like Austin was like, because I was complaining, I was like, oh my God, it's so hard. I got to watch the kids, whatever. He's like, oh, just hire another nanny, and I'm like, well, then I'm never spending time with my kids, bro. Yeah. Then that defeats the whole purpose. Mm-hmm. You like there's some things you can't really optimize for, and especially if it's your time.
Sure.
You're being present for the people you love.
So. When tech sales, it's TSA, right?
Tech Stack Advisory.
Yeah, Tech Stack Advisory. Yeah. When you exit for $100 million, what's next?
Family office, invest in 3 to 5 entrepreneurs that are young that I feel like I could help.
It's like a mini venture studio.
Yeah, mini venture, mini private equity kind of thing. Yeah, little family office.
Yeah, really cool. Funny enough, I don't know if you know, the name of our company is called Fractional Family Office.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, so I love that vision. What about investing in people? Because you haven't said anything about a space or an industry or a product. What about investing in people jazzes you up, and why is it so important?
Dude, because I look at where I am now, and I don't want to say nobody's helped me, but no one's really helped me. On one hand, I don't really accept help, and that's probably a weakness of mine, but it would be nice to have some help from somebody that, like Elon Musk isn't going to be able to help me, bro. He's so far ahead of me that he can't help me. But maybe the guy at like 15 or 20 million can help me, because that's the next step for me.
Sure.
So if I can invest in young entrepreneurs and I'm still close enough to them in terms of where I am in the game, I can have a huge impact on them and have fun dealing with other people's problems, which is more fun than dealing with your own, and make some money in the process.
Yeah. I like that.
Do that.
Yeah, because that brings up a good point, because you could have multiple mentors, which I do recommend. Is like you have like your large grandeur mentors, which for me has served in the form of podcasts, books, listening to people on stage. Where like your Tony Robbins is going to keep me going from a motivational standpoint and all those types of things. But I need someone who's been in my shoes that's not too crazy far ahead, because I need to know that they've been through what I've been through in this exact moment in time. Yes. Because someone who has built a business that I'm looking to build 10 years ago is probably not even someone that I need to leverage now, especially in a world where AI is essentially like the next major function of everything, right?
And that makes it really tough to find somebody, because we're all figuring that
it's all new, right?
Together. Like on Monday, I had lunch with a guy who owns about an $80-90 million company similar to mine, different software, but super similar. And I was like, I've been trying to get lunch with this guy for weeks, and finally I was like, hey man, wherever you want to go at whatever time, whatever date, like I want to take you out to lunch. And because I know he's been where I am now, like recently, like 8 years ago he was there. And so I just picked his brain. I got a lot of really, like I got actually not a lot, 3 good pieces of advice from him. And I was like, dude, that's game changing for me.
Give me one if you're open to
it. He said, the one that surprised me the most was, he's like, how is your relationship with your banker? And I was like, the guy calls me constantly. I ignore his calls. He's like, no, you need a relationship with your banker. You need a line of credit. And I'm like, for what? He's like, when you land a whale and you need to make payroll because your whale has net 90 payment terms, there's your, or else you can't land a whale. So, oh shit. It's like, okay. That would have blindsided me. I would have been fucked, because we are working on a whale and I didn't even think of that.
Dude, that's so good. Yeah, having the dry gunpowder available in the form of like different lines of liquidity.
Didn't cross my mind.
Yeah.
Didn't cross my mind.
You literally lose the client if you didn't have it.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
So this guy probably saved me millions of dollars without me even realizing.
Yeah, dude, that's so good. I love that, man. Awesome, dude. I'm trying to think about where I want to take this. I mean, we're almost at the wrap up point. Let's define this the parameters of the charity thing. Okay. So I want to speak this into existence, because I need to know what I have to do. Okay. What is your 25K thing?
So for me, it's 200 pounds lean. Everyone's like, what does lean mean? For me, it's 10 to 12% body fat and being 200 pounds. And by the way, I'm 5'9". I'm going to look stacked. It's going to be awesome. By the way, I like setting goals that even if you lose, you still win.
Yeah.
Bro, if I'm 195 and I'm going to still be in awesome shape, and I get to donate 25K to charity. So that's my thing. If I don't hit it, I'm going to do it on Instagram Live. I'm going to go live. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to block out the credit card, but people are going to watch me donate 25K either to I'm all about the kids. So either a children's hospital or a foster home, something local here.
Sweet.
That's my goal.
Awesome. So I'm going to do the same thing.
Okay.
I got to weigh in December 31 at, that's when you're going to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to weigh in December 31 probably in the morning or something.
Cool. Like that. At that point, like I'll have gotten to 200 pounds and below prior to them, but like I got to make sure I don't slip. Staying dialed in. I think for me, I need to find what objectively lean looks like, because I typically, even when I'm super lean, I'm still carry a little bit more body fat. I think it's in like my nature. So I'll get back to you on the exact DEXA.
I was going to say, go get a DEXA scan.
Yeah.
So I just got one, and everyone's talking shit because they're like, there's no way that's right. But my DEXA came back 6.8% body fat, and everyone's like, that's bullshit. I'm like, what do you want me to do, dude? I did a DEXA scan. I didn't make up the number.
Yeah, it's like you could release the actual brief of it, right?
Yeah, I sent it to everyone, and they're like, that's bullshit. I'm like, take it up with DEXA.
Yeah, I love giving to charity anyway, so it's a win-win at the end of the day. Yeah. Dude, you're in you said St. Pete, right?
Yeah, St. Pete, Northeast.
What about Tampa was like the thing for you guys? Did you move from Virginia?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Virginia. My wife's from Pennsylvania. We both went to West Virginia University.
Okay, cool.
Which, by the way, is the only school I got into. I applied to like 8 schools. I only got into WVU. The cool thing about WVU, it was the number one party school, but the real impressive thing was actually graduating. If you could make it through West Virginia and graduate, like that's impressive. Like you were able to somehow make it.
Why's that?
It's the number one party school at the time, and it's just like, dude, like to give you some perspective, people would visit, and I'd have to sit them down, be like, listen, you cannot get too drunk. No fighting. Do not get arrested. I got arrested 4 times. Do not get arrested. Like, you really need to behave yourself here. And people are like, yeah, no, I drink. And I'm like, no. You don't get it. You can't walk down the street a block without someone calling you a horrible slur and trying to fight you. Like, you got to really keep your head on you. Mm-hmm. So it's just a crazy place.
Were you a big football fan when you were there?
Yeah, I was a big football fan when I was there. I was in a frat.
Was the team good when you were there?
Yeah, I mean, we were decent. It was like Noel Devine and Pat White and Geno Smith.
Got it. I'm from like the Will Greer, David Sills days. Yeah. We're actually getting dinner with David Sills.
Oh, nice.
Tomorrow,
okay, yeah.
He's Landon played football with him in
high
school.
No way. Yeah. I mean, the Will Greer era was a lot of fun.
Dude, we played against him in the state championship in...
He's a stud.
In boarding school. That's where me and Len went to, boarding school. Yeah. And I mean, he was the best player in the country, dual threat.
He's a beast.
Was the guy at Florida, was about to take them to the national championship, and then did steroids.
One thing led to another.
Yeah, and then he was terrible on the Carolina Panthers. But I digress,
can't
dude.
Do that. But we got done with college. I moved to Virginia. She moved back to Pennsylvania. We got back together in Virginia, and we actually moved to Orlando because she had a job promotion opportunity. I was like, all right, cool, get your promotion. We'll go down to Orlando for a year. Orlando sucks, but we'll do it for a year. 1 year turned into 2. 2 years turned into a pandemic. Pandemic turned to I'm never leaving Florida ever. And my buddy moved to St. Pete. We came and visited him, and we're like, okay, this is where we need to go. So she quit her job, and 7 days later, I sold her house.
Interesting.
Because I was just like, let's go.
What about Tampa makes you want to stay? Like, let's call it Tampa, St. Pete area.
Yeah, dude. I mean, one, it's paradise. The weather, the water, and I'd say like the energy of the people. It's like everything you want in terms of the positive energy that Miami has without the negative energy that Miami has.
I also say that it's still a city that's trying to gain its own identity.
Yeah.
And you can be a part of contributing to that and become an actual player versus like these saturated markets like a New York, LA, Miami, Chicago. That's basically a cesspool at this point.
Yeah, and I just don't have any interest in that. I like the mindset of people here. A lot of people that I meet are have a good relationship with God. They have a good relationship with family. They have good values. They want to make it in business. They're ambitious. They have a lot of good stuff going on, and I like being around like-minded people, as we've talked about.
Final point, your relationship with God. How has that journey looked?
Yeah, so I grew up and was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Right. And so it's wildly different than the God experience I have now. But I went to Catholic school. I went through all the sacraments. I was an altar boy. Got kicked out of the Catholic school, go to public school, kind of lose the relationship with God, although I'd never taken off a cross. I've worn a cross every day since I was 5. Go to college, completely gone from God, not in a bad way, but just ignored. And I would say in the last year and a half, I like to say, like, I've been curious about God, which is the exact opposite. God's been curious in me. He's been calling me back. And so my wife and I made a decision, like, hey, let's go church shopping. And so, and by the way, what a great town to go to do that in. There's so many amazing churches here. So we went church shopping, and we found a really happy family and community in Radiant. And we go every Sunday. We take the kids. They have great childcare, and we do that. And mine and my wife's relationship has been better. We haven't even talked about it, but just going there and just being there has made our relationship better. And
that's great.
It's been awesome.
How do you deal with making the time on the daily for your relationship with God?
I could do a whole lot better.
There's so many ways to just get distracted and like so many justifications around why you're not taking the time. Walk me through that. I
don't think the journey or the effort ever ends. I think it's a consistent effort that you have to be intentional about. And, I'm in a men's group Bible study. And on Monday, one of the guys was saying he was on the treadmill and he thought about this thing, about the disciples. And I sat there and I'm like, brother, I need to do better. You're on a treadmill thinking about God and the disciples, and I'm not. Like, now it's a competition. Sure. Now I need to think more. I need to be more intentional about it. So, how do I do it? Not well enough, and I'm looking forward to putting more effort into that.
Sure, and that's kind of what I like about the modern day we live in on the church side, because that's why I grew up Catholic as well, and I hated the virtue signaling of like, hey, this person's far ahead, and I'm less than them because they feel this way, especially when the priest was talking about it, but really he was doing some fucking shady shit behind the scenes. I'll die.
We could really take that far.
Yeah. Well, that actually happened in one of the Catholic schools I went. The guy got
really.
He was like a very famous
so horrible.
brother, and he was also the president of the church, or the principal, and he got caught touching kids.
That's horrible, dude.
Yeah.
Here's my actual real problem with it. I leave church on Sundays here now, and I feel like I went to a half Tony Robbins session and a half church session, where I'm motivated, I'm on fire, and I've learned something, and I've gotten something out of it, and I leave like ready to be a better person. Whereas growing up Catholic, I went through Mass and sang songs about who knows what and said Latin prayers that I didn't understand, and I was like, I'm not getting anything from this. Right. And so as a kid, like that's, by the way, I'm grateful to have been raised Catholic. I had the core values of all the stuff. But now as an adult, I'm like, okay, again, leverage. What am I gaining from this? If I'm not gaining anything from it, I'm not going to do it.
And here's where I'm at in that whole process is like, I love everything that you just said. And like, there's no net negative to having gone to church and feeling really good coming out of it. But now I'm going down this rabbit hole of like, I need to understand the real scripture and like the actual theology behind it, because a lot of people I feel like just blindly listen to whoever they're open to being influenced by. Yeah. And in a world where the content that's out there sometimes isn't actually factually correct, when you're leveraging AI to study and all these other things, it's super dangerous when it comes to like, hey, I'm believing this thing because somebody said it, but it might not actually be fucking true.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've been a little bit more quiet than normal on my faith, just to go deep into the actual theology and studying of it. Yeah. Sometimes it gets super boring and challenging, but I'm just being a lot more discerning about who I'm open to listening to when it comes to that side of my life.
Yeah, and I think that's healthy. I think that you should, Hormozy, I talk a lot about Hormozy because he's one of my idols that I listen to, and he's like, we question everything except the things we know to be true, and we should always be questioning everything, even though we think are true or not. And, spending time in the Word, I think, is a really healthy way to just make sure that you are reading the actual raw Word, interpreting it, and then also having a good community of guys that you can sit down around a table and just discuss it. Yeah. Because the disciples didn't have a book. Yeah. They talked.
And that's why, like, I love people that are open to just questioning of like, hey, what is this real? Like, we all waver in our faith. Yeah. There's no way, like, anyone that just says they're rock solid all the fucking time is just, I can't relate. And so, like,
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, all right, cool. You're perfect.
Yeah, fuck off. Good for you.
But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. This is great. It's great to get to know you. I love these types of pods where like I don't know the person, but I'm like associated through mutual friends. Yeah. So we get to build a real relationship from this too. So
thank you for having me. I had a really good time. Good conversation. Great questions. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.